Hi. Just sort of dawned on me how cool this is. Not that just like God's got me doing this. Because I struggle in so many of the things that I'm doing through here, like reading, looking up stuff, just talking, the knowing the Bible, knowledge of the Bible. That's got me like displaying it on the internet. That's cool. I don't know. It's humbling for sure. Oh, God, glory to you. All glory go to you, God. Please help us read through Ecclesiastes and just get the message out of it that you want to deliver today. Amen. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 12. I, the teacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. I devoted myself to study and to explore by wisdom all that is down under heaven. Whoa. Okay. Let's see, first verse there. I, the teacher, okay, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. I think so. It's like a hint to who this teacher is. I think it already said that in the beginning, though. The words of the teacher, son of David, king of Jerusalem. So it said he was the son. Now it's saying, I, the teacher, who was king over Israel. Is it unknown who the author of Ecclesiastes is? I guess it doesn't ever outright and say it, but... Oh, the teacher, not the author. I don't think the author is known, but the teacher. The narrator of Ecclesiastes is a named person. Oh wait, calls himself a teacher. No, I thought... Oh. So, other resources I use, or I've just passed, of looking through, not like for this I'm sort of going in the dark. Shucks, what is it called? Bible Project. They are awesome, and they did Ecclesiastes, and I thought they were saying there's two. There's an author, and then the teacher, someone writing it about the teacher, or I don't know, but I don't see that. Not, and they've done their studies, and are way more in tune with the Bible than me. But just for myself, looking into it, I don't know where that says that. The words of the teacher. So it does sound like someone else talking, I guess. The words of the teacher. So someone, yeah. Okay, I guess I see that. I wouldn't have noticed that right away unless someone said that. But I think the teacher's Solomon. I don't know. I have no evidence on that besides I feel like I heard someone say that. Okay, let's continue though. It's just curious why it would hint to who. I guess maybe it's just more about him. was king over all of Israel. Yeah. It was like I was up. I was on high. For under the sun, for things on this earth, I was highest of the food chain. I devoted myself to study and to explore wisdom and all that is done under heaven. What a heavy burden God has laid on men! Exclamation point. I think that's very important anytime you see an exclamation point. Because it's like, why did you do that? Is he mad? Or you're just yelling this? But holy buckets, let's see. I devoted myself to study and to explore the wisdom and all that is under heaven, down under heaven. It's a lot. Do we have anyone nowadays that is that a scientist? Is that what that is, or just I don't know. I devoted myself to study and to explore by wisdom. Explore by wisdom. We haven't done this in a while. Just search a word that we feel like we know. Explore. Travel in or through in order to learn about or familiarize oneself with it. Ah. Exploring isn't just going around. Yeah, I guess I knew that, but sometimes it's to learn, going to learn. Let's explore over here and see what it's all about. And explore by wisdom. What's the difference between just exploring in order to learn about and familiar yourself and exploring by wisdom? Is that like double exploring? Okay. Man, see, that's if you really want, you can just dig into like one or two verses if you really want, because we haven't gone very far, and I feel like it's just, I don't know. Let's continue, because I still feel like there's a lot there that we could jump around. And what a heavy burden God has laid on men. What does he mean by that? Because of, well, let's see, does he talk more about, I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. Oh, how? What do you mean? I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless and chasing after the wind. Chasing after the wind, that's that hevel. Sort of. Like, that breath and trying to, I want it, get it, but it just disappears in your hand. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. So just like that are done, like things that people do. I've seen all the things that are done under the sun. Things that people do on earth. They're all meaningless. Now, and because of what my pastor said, it makes more sense if it's under the sun, not talking about heaven, like, or God, or Jesus. Everything on earth, well, and I guess Jesus hasn't happened yet. But everything under the sun is meaningless. So it's not talking about like, I was gonna say prayer and loving and whatever, But like if that's excluding God, God's not in that stuff, then yes, it's meaningless. I don't know where that is. Something says, you can have all the love in the world, but without Jesus or God, it's worthless. And actually, I wonder what word they use there for that. Sometimes I debate going over here to look up stuff because I don't know if I'll find it, and I don't know how to look. Let's see. Let's quote it. It's the first Bible. Oh. Bible. Is it without love things are meaningless, or is it you can love but without God can you love without, oh boy, without love. We are nothing verse. 1 Corinthians. Oh, okay. So it's without love. All right, that's going way off track. That's 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1. If you have to if you have certain things but not having love, it's nothing. But that's not what we're going for right now. What a heavy burden God has laid on men! Exclamation point. Is he mad? Oh, and he's talking about God. What's he talking about? What a heavy burden. What's the heavy burden? That you decided to devote your life to exploring everything under the sun by wisdom? Heavy burden. Maybe that no matter what we do, I don't know. We're going to continue on. That's something I'm going to look into later. What is twisted cannot be straightened. What is lacking cannot be counted. Where did that come from? We're like, alright, we're talking about he devoted himself to studying the world and it's all meaningless, chasing after the wind. What? So now is he on to like his next thought? What is twisted cannot be straightened. What is lacking cannot be counted. I thought to myself, look, I have grown and increased in wisdom more than anyone who has ruled over Jerusalem before me. I have experienced much of wisdom and knowledge. What does that have to do with things being twisted and straightened and lacking and counted or whatever? I don't know. Let's see. How would we go about? How would we go about figuring that out? Prayer. Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you get stuck and it's like, I don't know, I understand all those words. I mean, I guess I could look up each one and make sure. I guess I could look at different translations of it to see what that means, but I feel like I understand what it's saying, but I don't understand what it's getting at. If that makes sense. So then when you're stuck like that, you just gotta pray. And I'm not feeling led to pray right now, but maybe that's something whoever's watching, if you're really stuck on that, just pray and God will open your eyes. Yeah. Okay. Let me read it again, and then we're going to continue on. I thought to myself, look, I have grown and increased in wisdom more than anyone who has ruled over Jerusalem before me. I have experienced much of wisdom and knowledge. Then I applied myself to understanding of wisdom and also of madness and folly, but I learned that this too is chasing after the wind. Okay. Originally, I was looking at it like he's bragging about himself, but this other part though is fun. So he's studied. Okay, I applied myself to understanding of wisdom. Understanding wisdom. That sounds like saying, help me understand understanding. I don't know. It's a funny thing to think of. Wisdom, like what it is and how to get it and stuff. I don't know. But this part, and also of madness and folly. I just picture some like scientist or teacher or someone, like how would you teach on that? How would you teach someone? It's like, okay, here I'll teach you about wisdom, how to get it and stuff like that. How do you teach folly, like, or madness? That's a fun image. It's just like a teacher in front of a classroom, just like trying to teach them like madness. Sort of. I mean, that's not what's happening, but trying to like think of like, all right, if I wanted to go to understand madness, how would I go about that? Well, what if someone's teaching madness? I don't know. All of it is folly, chasing after the wind. Or all of it, no, not folly. But I learned that it too is chasing after the wind. It's all worthless. It's all meaningless. It's all temporary. Ooh, worthless is one I should put on there too, but I don't know. Absurd, meaningless, temporary. I wonder, so for Hevel, for each time that each section, I wonder what word of ours, absurd, temporary, meaningless, would fit like best. Like it'd be cool to go through and say like our first part was how the world's just going around and around, everything's sort of repeating. That seems absurd. This part, learning all the wisdom and learning about falling madness, trying to say, what should I just be foolish and enjoy myself? Should I have wisdom and follow that? That is all temporary, I feel like. Works good for that. No, actually, the work one, so his labor and all the generations come and go. Temporary. World's going round and around. Absurd. Wisdom and knowledge, meaningless. Something that we take value in. Wisdom. Not really madness, but fun. Alright. That'd be cool to do for each one. I'd like to section it out and be like, this is this part of Hevel. This is this part. Alright. Last little, let's see. Verse 18. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Okay. So, I guess when you think of madness and folly, it's sort of like doing whatever you want all the time. Just compulsive and like madness. Like if you think of someone who doesn't have a filter, who's just like anything they want to do, they do it, and I want to smash this, I want to like this. It's like it's. Where was I going with this? Oh, I don't know where I was going with that. I guess I was thinking of like you feel free, but you're not. But like, I don't know, unrestricted. Just everything I want to do, I'm gonna do it. But then here it's saying wisdom comes. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. I don't know if that matches with anything I was just saying. But, let's see. An example of that would be like when I discovered that like Walmart was super like shisty and sort of ruined neighborhoods, and like it's like, okay, Walmart comes into a town, sells everything much cheaper, and people go to that rather than their local places. Everyone's pouring their money in, and then Walmart's just like, all right, we flushed you out, and then they like close it down and go somewhere else, and then it's like there's a huge empty parking lot that's never used and just becomes sort of a wasteland, and the town's now doesn't have any money because they gave it all away. I don't know. Just so learning that, it's like they didn't bring me any joy. It's just like, oh, I can't support Walmart. Walmart was really nice to shop at. You know, it was cheap. They have all the options. It's like a one-stop place. But then it's like, well, I can't support that. Like, that sucks. Brought me sorrow and grief. So it's like, but it's good to know, too. So, for much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. So the more you learn about things, you know, and I guess what he's getting at here too is how it's chasing after the wind, is you'd think madness should bring you grief and sorrow, which it does. But in the moment of it, you know, it's like, oh, I'm happy. I'm getting everything I want in the moment. But then with wisdom and stuff, you'd think that should bring you happiness, but then it actually brings you sorrow and grief. And I could be totally wrong. That's what's fun about this, is I probably am. And if I am, or if you're listening and you're like, yuck, like what are you saying? That's cool. Use that as motivation to look into Ecclesiastes 1 and find out its actual meaning, or find out what it's saying. I'm just going for what I feel like it is, and All right. Thank you, God, for this time. Glory to you, God. I just pray that this that you use it in some way, that glory goes to you, that whenever I'm talking about the Bible, not just here, but anywhere, God, that I'm not speaking, that you are God. Please pull me out of the equation. Amen.